Hello, friends. This is Dr. Subodh, and who does not like to listen to stories, right? So in this video, I'm going to tell my life story in short, in terms of the career movement and the changes from education to where I am right now, and how the possibilities came up, and how there were instances when people used to say, "Oh, this cannot happen," but the things were made to happen, and believing on that positivity that yes, it is possible, made it happen. So that's the year, age 17 years old, gave the entrance exam in the class 12th, and got a rank around say 1000 something, and the cutoff that happened in Delhi was around 700, so could not grab a seat in Delhi NCR at the year 97, age 17 as a student. So many people said that no possibility for doing engineering, as the dream was that time to obviously become an engineer. So the possibilities was to go outside the home and go to a different state where you can basis your merit, you can get into engineering. So that time a decision had to be taken. Yes, you want to leave home, or you want to stick around at home at the comfort of the home and study maybe some course in Delhi NCR. So that time the decision was made that yes, would be going ahead and would be moving out of the city and the state to pursue the engineering education. So that was the year 97, age 17, went out almost 1800 kilometers away from home at the age of 17 to pursue engineering and electronics and telecommunication from Amaravati University. So that was the first kind of a change, and adapting to that change, different environment, different culture. And obviously at that time, ragging used to be there and quite high. So all those, changes and the challenges that came up with this thing. The next is after 3 years, time for the so-called, getting the education placement season. So that time, a lot of people used to say, it's a small city, Amaravati, God knows what kind of placements will happen, whether you can get into land up to a great organization or not. So that was the year, again the age of 20, 600 students interviewed by Infosys that time, and 1% selection rate. So came around that the top 6 out of the 600 to be selected for the organization Infosys. And the passing out year was 2001 at the age of 21. But then what happened is the September 11 attacks, and the joining went on hold. So again, as many people, they said that, now I don't think any chance of the company, honoring the offer and those kind of things, were doing the rounds. But then, as the things would have it, having that trust and the faith in the organization Infosys kept to their word, and finally they called us for joining the organization in the year 2002, and that's how the start of the career happened. So thing is, you have to kind of look at what is the commitment which has been made by the organization, and the culture and the ethics and the values of the organization, and not to think about what others people say. And similarly, this thing is one which you can apply to your life. So that was the start, of the career in the information technology arena. So here, I ended up in training in their Bhubaneswar training center, 100 students, a batch of 100. And then the things were that, majority of them all will be sent to the Bangalore or various locations. And obviously the preference was to get into the North Development Center. That time it was Mohali DC, as they used to call it. So again, some round that, the chance is very bleak. But then again, out of 100, 4 people were sent to the Mohali DC, and I was, one of them. So ultimately the thing is, you have to believe in things that you think about. You want to get into that area, and and the thing is, the universe supports you into achieving that particular thing. So that was the year 2002, age 21, and the career started with the technology company, all going well, and then finally an opportunity came, landed on the lap to go to United States to work for the client, but things were a bit different here. So at the age of 21, 22, so then an accident happened, and the obviously then the bed rest and getting the time to recover. So that time the chance to get into that particular project, which was a USA based, got stalled. So again the different kind of thing going round, it will take few years for you to get another opportunity or a chance to go to US and all that. But then, believing that yes, things can happen and it will be for the best, few months later, I get an opportunity, land up again in United States at the age of 24, and almost spent 2 years in the United States, learning the different culture, how does the international work happens and all that. So that was all about in terms of going to US, coming back, and then starting the work again in the India. And finally then the next movement was to get into another organization, came in. And then since the dream obviously was there in the mind that I want to do a postgraduate program, MBA. And finally one day I read the newspaper and the ad was to do a 1 year full-time on-campus program. And then this led me to kind of take a sabbatical from my current organization. And then again at the age of, you can say 27, landed up to do the program at IMT Ghaziabad. And the year 2008 was the year of me passing out, but as the things would have been, my interview happened in January, and I was selected on campus by the company called as Manpower Group, campus placement. And as you know, in July 2008, the entire the global, there was the stall that happened in terms of the economic slowdown and all those things. So as the things would happen, obviously it was a tough time for our organization as well. But then the task was given to maybe start or look for some alternate line of business, and that is where the seed of a program called as the Campus Workforce Readiness Program was sown, in which we used to go to universities and colleges and train the students on their personality development, communication skills, behavioral skills, and that is how this program got started. And the first deal was almost like 1.5 million Indian rupees, and that's how the thing started. So when the times were tough and there were signs that one may lose a job, but given that freedom from my leaders in the organization, explore and find out the new areas in terms of what we can be done. So again we were a winner and successful in that. And as the history would have it, almost a decade with the organization, different projects, different achievements in terms of sales, business development, projects of national importance also done, skilling projects and various other with the clients of the organization. So as the things would have it, one day it so happened, I was there with one of my client, which was Chitkara University, and the dean said that, why don't you look at and doing a PhD program with us? You're starting and launching a program. So I said, I cannot obviously leave a job and then do a PhD. He said that, we are not doing a full-time program, but there's an option of doing a part-time program. As the thing would have been, I jumped into it and said, why not? Things are possible. Some people said with job, at this age, it's not easy at the age of 35 entering into doing a PhD program. But then obviously when there's a will, there's a way. And although it took me 5 years almost to complete the so-called the doctorate program, the PhD, and getting the name doctor before my name, so that happened. But yes, it was a journey in itself. So my dear friends, so currently working into the higher education sector. So thing is that if you have a kind of a willingness to do that particular achieve and aim, and although there will be many who will say this thing cannot happen, that thing cannot happen, but thing is you have to believe in yourself and finally work towards it. See, planning is good, planning is very important and necessary, but if the plan is not followed with the proper execution, then it will not work. But if you want to make it work, then a plan has to be there and it has to be followed with a good execution, which has to be there on time, so that you don't lose on to the time. Because there were many, in fact I remember my guide used to say, out of 10 people who join this journey of a PhD, only 3 to 4 they make it, 60 to 70% they leave it in between, because they think that they have this maybe think that it cannot happen. So ultimately, if you believe in that you can make it happen, then definitely you have that willingness, and then the universe will support you in terms of whatever aim you have in your life or goals which you have in life. And my dear friends, it holds true for organizations as well. As you must have seen, those organizations who have adapted to the change in this changing world of business, they have survived, in fact, more than hundreds of years. There are organizations, in fact, IBM is more than 100 years old. In fact, I think some organization more than 200 years old. Many are there. In fact, one of the organizations is even 500 years old in terms. So, thing is, those organizations who have constantly adapted to this, this so-called the VUCA world, which is the volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world, they have been able to, survive. Not only survive, but also they have been able to grow, which is there. So, my dear friends, as long as you have that conviction in what you believe and you can take the actions onto that particular area, then there is nothing which can stop you from achieving the goal which you have set for yourself. You will be able to achieve it. Okay, so alright, so let us get started. Let us define some aim and goal for ourselves and let us start working towards it. So all the best from my side. Signing off for today. Maybe see you in the next time in some other video. Till then, God bless and have a great day ahead. Thank you. Bye bye.